Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve. Woohoo! For anyone that I don't know, my name is Jean Jernigan, and I am the president of Auburn Hills Chamber. And along with my colleague Alex Drake, who is our graphics and marketing manager, we welcome you to our first official enhanced membership directory training. We tend to go through these with our membership 101s, like Jen Harbin from Chief Financial Credit Union had mentioned. And we had a lot of questions and we get a lot of requests and wanting more information about it. So Alex actually suggested, hey, what if we did a dedicated training? Because there's a lot of information that we don't get an opportunity to completely cover during Membership 101. So we hope that you enjoy this. And I will say this to you too. If for any reason after this, you are interested in ways that you can do other things and need a little bit more direction, please just feel free to reach out to us and call us, send us an email. We can schedule one-on-one time with you to, just focus on yours in particular. So on behalf of the Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce, we are so appreciative and want to thank all of you for taking this extra step to be recognized among our 400 plus, which represent 75,000 employees among our Chamber of Commerce. And so there's a lot of other that many of you are involved with, and we hope that you use this program in this hour as a collaborative discussion. So please feel free to interrupt Alex and
Absolutely.
ask questions. And ask questions. And if he's moving too fast, have him stop and go back and, ask ways if there's, things that you thought you were able to do, but maybe we're not covering it. Feel free to stop him and ask those questions, because if no other reason, we are able to go back if there is not a feature that's included that you were hoping for. We can give that feedback to our database company that helps us with this, because they take that information and use it to make improvements. And so we really appreciate any and all of your feedback. So I unfortunately do have another commitment, but I just wanted to get on and wish you all a good morning. And now I am officially going to turn it over to Alex and let him kick this off, and enjoy this hour. This is all about you. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Jean. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it, if that's okay with everyone. And then if we have some time at the end, that way we can go around and introduce ourselves, but I'd rather get right into it at the beginning, if that's okay. That way we make sure we have time to get through everything. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to walk through the portal just as if it was for you walking through your end of your portal. I'll be logged into mine, just as if you were logging into yours. If you're not familiar with how to log into your portal, you just go to auburnhillschamber.com. Right at the top of the screen, there's going to be a green button that says member login. You log in right from there. If you do not have a login, don't worry, let us know. We can get you one set up. That's no problem at all. Anybody within your company can have a login. So that is also no problem. Anybody has access to this, and we welcome anyone to do any of these updates that you would be interested in doing. So when you first log into your portal, this is what you're going to see. Can everyone see my screen? Let's probably check that before we can go forward. Perfect. I see some heads nodding here. So as soon as you log in, this is going to be your main welcome screen. And from here, we can go a few different ways. The first thing I'm going to focus on is the actual, your membership directory listing itself. So I'm going to jump into our page on our website. That way you can see what it looks like, and then you can kind of match where I'm going with everything as I'm going through this. So this is going to be our directory listing on our website. So this is going to be the same as yours, same as mine. It's going to be very similar to this. You can change out almost all of these pieces. You can change this banner at the top. Obviously, you'll have your logo here. You can add your map here. All these pieces in between here, the address, email, phone number, social media links, hours, driving directions, and about us section, that is all included in the basic listing. But All these extra pieces are included in the enhanced listing, which you all have. With the About Us section, with the enhanced, you get additional characters. With the standard, with the basic, it's only 200 keywords. With the enhanced, it's 1,600 characters, which is really nice. You get an extra, an extra big boost there, which is really nice. It's kind of hard to get 200 characters in for a description, but we have some members who do it really well. We also have the opportunity to add a YouTube video that links right to it. You can add a highlight section that links right out to anywhere on your website that you would like, which is really nice. I believe you can have up to 5 of those. And then you can add a photo gallery, which is really nice. You can add as many photos as you would like. Just a lot of different opportunities there. And then down here at the bottom is your rep and contact information. I'll show you where we can add these and who you can add, how many people you can add, the different display preferences. It's very customizable for your rep information, which is really helpful. That way you have people listed on there who are the right people to contact. If you have some certain people who don't need to be contacted from the general public or from the general membership, you can remove those people on there and just keep those key people on, which is really nice.
Hey, Alex?
Yes.
How often can we update the YouTube and the photos in the photo gallery?
As often as you would like.
Okay.
Yep, as often as you would like.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, I will go back into the portal here. So as I mentioned, this is kind of where we're starting off here. To start off, we're going to go onto the left-hand side under shortcuts, and we're going to go into personal information. So this is going to be your individual representative contact itself. This is going to be updating just yourself here, not the company-wide, just yourself. So this is where you can add your email, your job title, phone number. You can add a personal bio if you would like that way. If you want someone to see, a little bit about yourself, you can add that all here. You can change your username and password right from this screen as well if there was something that you needed to change on that end of things. And you can also add your photo, which is really nice, adds a little bit of a credibility so people who know who you are when they're contacting you. Another thing I will mention in this section is your social networks. You can add your personal social networks to this page, and then those can be displayed under display preferences. And then those will show up right at the bottom of that screen that I was just showing you where it shows your name. You can have your social media links right in there as well if you want someone to contact you on LinkedIn or something along those lines. And then this is where I was saying about your display preferences for what information would be on there. So for myself, I have my job title, my work phone, my email address, and there's other information that you can add on there. That's all that I have listed on mine. I'd say that those are the most important ones. And then each individual person can just select those preferences for themselves as well. So that's the personal side of things. Before I move on from personal, does anybody have any questions? All right, perfect. So now going into the company side of things, so it's in the same drop down here. If you go into profile summary, this is just going to kind of be almost like a checklist for you. We'd love to get you to be at 100%. So you can see we're at 100%. If you're not at 100%, these are usually clickable. And then that way it takes you right to that section where you can upload that. So it's kind of a good starting point as well. You can click right on that. It takes you right to that section to get everything updated, which is really nice. So moving away from the profile summary, we're going to go right into organization information. So this is going to be your basic listing here of what information is out there. So your company name, your phone number, your address, your physical address or mailing address, if you'd like both of those displayed, things along those lines. Additional information that you can add on here is your established date, full-time employees, part-time employees. Essentially, that kind of helps us on our end as well to keep track of things just for statistics-wise as well as your billing contact. Next section is going to be employees. So this is where you're going to have, like I mentioned, as all of you know, our membership is based on your employee count. That's how your membership is determined. So you can have as many employees as you would like within your system, within the database. Not everyone has to have a login, but even having them in our system, that way they have access to registering as a member for events or things along those lines. For all of our webinars that we have coming up, it's complimentary for members, but $10 for non-members. So making sure that they have at least their email within our system, they're bumped into that member rate, which is really something to consider as well. Just want to double check something here. And then you can also update each individual person within your company from your profile once you're in the employees section. So when you click on their name, you can update their information from here. And then from preferences, you can just also edit their display preferences. So if you're the one who's going to be managing the website, you want to make sure that your CEO or your marketing person or your HR person is on there, this is where you would be able to do that. All right, so the next section here is going to be website information. And so this is going to be the kind of the meat and the potatoes to your listing here. So all this first information is going to pull from your organization information. If it's different, you just uncheck that. And then something I will also notice, because it shows up on this page, when I'm updating my profile, I updated ours yesterday, made sure ours was all up to date and looking good. I had our webpage open the whole time in another tab. And whenever I made a change, I went into my page and refreshed it just to see how it looked, to make sure it was looking good, make sure my links worked and things along those lines. So I would definitely recommend doing the preview webpage as you're kind of updating things. That way you have, you know what you're doing, and everything's working out correctly. So this is where you will add your social media links. Right now there's the option for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We do have feature requests out right now to be able to add a few different social media links. There's so many out there right now. So we're definitely trying to see if we can get some more out there, which will be nice to be able to at least add like Instagram or something like that. So that is definitely a feature request that we are requesting.
Hey, Alex?
Yes.
Can we add more than one LinkedIn or Facebook page or site?
You cannot. So in this section, it's just going to be the one. If you would, so this is going to be for the company listing. So if you wanted to add, say, Paul, if you had one for, if you have a company listing for Paramount Marketing Group, you could put that in this section. And then if you wanted to link to your Paul Galtieri LinkedIn account, I would do that under the employees tab. And you can add it to that section.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So next section is going to be search results summary. Just basically a little bit shorter of a listing. It helps with when you are searching on Google for a business or something along those lines. I will mention that within the past year, we have been noticing if we're just randomly checking out a member, if, say a new member joins and we're just Googling them just to, you know, get to know them or whatever, our membership listings are some of the top few hits recently, which is really great to see. So it's really just extra credibility, extra recognition for you as your company, just getting your name out there more. And then it helps us too, because it's showing that you're a member of the Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce. So it's showing that credibility that you're involved in an organization and things along those lines. Next, we have hours of operation and then driving directions. And then we'll get down to the bottom here. You can also add a map that shows directly where you're located as well. This is the highlight section that I mentioned. So you can add your bullet text here and then your direct URL, which is really nice. As Paul asked, you can update these at any time as often as you would like. And it's really nice just to be able to link to different pages on your website. That way you have some key places for them to learn more about you. And then next we have keywords. A really nice thing about keywords as well with the enhanced directory, you have unlimited keywords, which is really nice. With the basic listing, I believe it's only, I can't remember the exact number for the basic, but you have quite a bit more, obviously, because it's unlimited for the enhanced directory. Any questions on this section? All right, moving right along. Next, I'm going to go into categories. This isn't specifically an enhanced membership directory part of this, but it's definitely part of the portal, and I definitely want to make sure we mention it. So this is where you can select which membership directory you would like to be in. When you go out to our website and you hit member directory, there's going to be about 12 different quick categories where it has different categories within that subsets. That's where you're going to be listed. You can select multiple if you are across multiple industries or multiple, areas. We do ask to make sure that you actually are in those industries. We've had those problems in the past where people just add themselves to everything. But we definitely make sure you ask, that you do have that opportunity to add yourselves into different areas if you so choose. So this is where you would do that. Just wanted to make sure we mentioned that before I moved on. Next section is going to be logos. So this is where you can add that header image. In here, you can see the actual sizing is 1200 by 225 pixels, which is great to be able to have just a little bit extra, a little something different as opposed to just your logo at the top. I know some people do just have their logo at the top nice and big, which looks really nice also, but you do have the opportunity to make it that an actual banner image, which is nice. Your member logo, which will display on your page, and then your search results logo, typically the same logo, but this will what will be seen within the directory listing. And as we mentioned, this is all exclusive. All of this information now is definitely exclusive to the enhanced. Basic listings do not have options to add photos or logos. Going into photos, this is where you can add and manage your gallery. So I already have photos in here, but if you wanted to add photos, it would be add gallery, but I'm going to manage gallery. You can add all your photos in here. And then right down at the bottom, you can add image. It just pulls up a browser right from your computer, and you can upload the photos. Unfortunately, you can only add one photo at a time. We're definitely working on that also as a feature request because it's very time consuming to add one at a time, but it is nice to be able to have some pictures on there. Next thing is going to be video. And this is where you can link directly to a YouTube video. You just put your link right in there. And as you've seen, it pops up really nice and big, shows the actual title, you know, the whole image of your video, which is nice. Right now we have a video for our golf outing coming up on August 19th. Right, next section is going to be the map information. So this is going to be showing where you can have an actual Google map going right to your physical location if you have a physical location. If you do not have a physical location and you have just like a billing address or something along those lines that goes to your home address or a PO box or something along those lines, make sure you go into this section and make sure that's turned off. We've noticed that in the past too, that some people, it's never been updated. And if it's going to, you know, their home address because they don't have a physical address, they don't really want some, people having their home address out there. So make sure you go into that section if that's something that applies to you.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Quick question. For Pomeroy Living, we have 7 locations. So would you be able to pin and map all different locations, or could you only do one?
So unfortunately with that, you're only going to be able to do one. So for that instance, I would recommend 2 different things you could do. I would either recommend one, putting it in your web description, having all your different locations listed within there, or you could utilize the highlight section and have your different locations highlighted out. You could have them linked right to those specific websites for the different locations. You could do that also, which might be a nice option.
Okay.
Yep. But that is something that we could look into to see if there's an opportunity to add multiple locations. I'll have to look into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last thing that I'll mention on here, another thing that's not necessarily enhanced directory specific, but I will also mention it, is we offer a membership badge that you can add to your website if that's something that you are interested in. So this is something that would populate typically in the footer of your website, so all the way down at the bottom, where it would just say, it would show exactly what this shows right here, proud member of the Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce. It's just something that could be added right into the footer. It's through the HTML. If you have, an IT person or somebody who manages your website, that's something that you can add right into your website. Again, just adds extra credibility for you saying that you're a member of this organization, and continuing education and, continuing working and being a good business. So I also wanted to mention that. So I know that's a lot of information I just threw at you, but there is some really great opportunities to have this page updated. It just really makes your web presence look nice. You're some of our biggest members on here. I know this is a mixture of trustee members and just regular members, our basic members who have opted into the enhanced package, and we really appreciate that because it really is a great opportunity. And I've noticed that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it, and that's why Jean mentioned that this is the first one that we're doing of these. We really want to make sure that everyone is taking full advantage of this opportunity. Does anybody have any questions on the portal side on any of this information? Because there are a few other things that I wanted to show you about our directory, some member-to-member resources and events. Any other questions on this section in general? Awesome, perfect. It's pretty straightforward once you get into it. It's basically just, kind of going down the line and making sure everything's selected here. All right, so one of the next pieces that I wanted to show you is going to be your membership directory within this portal here. So if you go over to directory, all of our members are going to be listed within here. This is going to be just alphanumerically going down this way. I will also mention that with the enhanced directory, you do have priority placement. So you are going to be ahead of all of the basic listings, but then still in alphabetical order. So say your company started with W, but you have an enhanced directory listing, you're not going to be listed all the way at the bottom. You're going to be listed farther up in that list, which is nice as well. And then something else I will mention on this page is you can contact specific businesses right from in this portal. You can send them essentially like an email message. And it shows that it's kind of coming from you, but through us. So it adds a little bit of a relationship starter right there, which is nice. So to do that, you can select right here and select contact these businesses. Selecting it right from this screen is going to add all of the businesses within the chamber. So all of our members. If you want to subset out the categories before that, you just go right over onto this hand side here and say you wanted to contact construction and building services. You can select that from here. And then you can see that there's 142 members that have the construction and building services category. And then you can do contact these businesses, and it's only going to be those. I'm going to go back out and clear the filters just so it's the main listing. So when you go into contact these businesses, it's essentially just a form that you're going to fill out here. So you're going to put your name, your organization, your billing address, contact information. You can send yourself a carbon copy of the email. That way you know it's sent, which I really recommend. And then you just add a subject line and your message. And then you select who you want these to go to. And then by selecting these companies, it's going to select the primary contact of all of our companies. It's going to send them a message. You can select up to 50 at a time. And that's just really just so you're not, essentially spamming all of our members, but you can do this multiple times. If there's something that you want to send out to a majority of the members, that's totally fine. What I would recommend doing is just making sure that you copy and paste your subject and your message into like a Word doc or something along those lines. And then that way you can copy it back in. That way you don't have to recraft it every time. Like I said, you just select your members, you scroll all the way to the bottom here, and then you hit submit. We'll check it on our end just to make sure everything looks okay and the message is appropriate and things along those lines. And then that message will be sent right out to them. You will notice some of these members are grayed out. That is something that the member themselves have chose to turn off, where they can't be contacted through here. If you see that your directory is turned off and you like that turned on, reach out to us and we'll make sure that that is reactivated for you.
Hey, Alex,
Yes.
those messages are strictly text or copy. There's no attachments, or you can't upload images into those, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. So that is definitely something that we always like to mention. There's not a lot of people know that we have this option through the portal, which is nice. All right. Any questions on the directory? Awesome. All right. So moving on to events. So this is going to be where, this is the same as, our just Auburn Hills Chamber website, where you're going to see all of our events along with all of our members' events. But what I wanted to mention on here is this is where you can add events that you may be hosting. You just hit add event there in the top corner. Basically just a fillable form. You do your event title, start date, end date, things along those lines. Details, location, date, time, fees, description, categories. A nice thing with events is you are able to add a header image, event photo, search results logo, and gallery photos, which is really, really nice. We're glad that they have that feature in there. It just adds a lot of a nicer look to events, which is really nice. You can also add a YouTube video to these as well. Just hit for submit for approval at the bottom. We'll check it on our end, make sure everything looks good, make sure all the links work, all the formatting is correct. And then we will add it to the website, and it'll be right on our website, right along our events, which is really nice. So people are coming out to look at our signature events or our webinars or our trainings or things along those lines, and your events are listed right within the same thing as ours, which is nice. Next thing I am going to mention, we're going to go back to home here. So next thing I would like to mention is the member-to-member resources, and that's going to be listed on the left-hand side of the screen here. So member-to-member resources in the past has typically been more of a hot deals section, more of like a discount page. Within the last year and a half, we have transformed this page to be more of a resource page where you can add services that you offer. You can obviously add discounts or deals or something along those lines if that's something that you would like to offer, but definitely more of a tell all about your business. If you have a certain feature that you're offering right now, if you're, during COVID, we had a lot of people who are doing, cleaning services or things along those lines. You could, something that highlights that we're offering these, or we're offering shields, or we're offering PPP. This is a place that we were adding that type of information. But now this can be really anything. It could be anything that you're offering, anything that is important to you, important for members to know. From adding information to here, we pull this information to populate our newsletter and to populate our, we do member resource e-blasts about once a month. And we pull that information for there as well as social media. So it's really just an extra touch point. To add member resources, you just hit it at the top here. Very similar to events, you just add the information to the form. Unfortunately, you are not able to add photos. It's another feature request that we're really trying to get them to do. So you can add it. If there is a specific photo that you would like to add, or you just have a flyer or something that you want added to these, if you send it directly to me, I'm able to add it in on the back end, which is nice. And that way, it just has your nice flyer on there, which is great. Something to mention here is the offer date and start date. These can stay on essentially as long as you would like. We welcome you to keep them on for a few months. Obviously, we like you to see them updated every once in a while, but if it's something that isn't time sensitive, or something that's always going to be necessary and helpful, feel free to push it out a few months. A lot of the ones that we've been pushing out now have been going out till July, August, September timeframe. We welcome you to add extra time to that for sure. And then another thing to add is just making sure that you make sure that the offer end date and the publish end date match. Any questions on member-to-member resources? Okay. Couple more things we're going to just go through here. The next thing is going to be news releases, very similar to member-to-member resources, but essentially just a press release page. Same thing as just more of a press release section as opposed to a deal section. Same thing, add news release, fill out the form, hit submit. And then the last thing I will mention is the jobs posting section. This is a page that right now, I think we're all kind of dealing with this. It's a very, it's just essentially a free job posting page. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are hiring right now and looking for people and can't find people. We're here to help with that. If you add your job description on here, let us know. We'll push out on our social media. We're trying any way we can to help you guys. What's nice about the job posting is you can add all this information here. You can select what category it goes into. And then you can add your active dates on what days you would like this listed, what weeks you would like this listed, how long you would like it listed along those lines. It goes by the week. So you just go ahead and select them here. You can select it as far out as you want. Lately, we've been having members who just have, we just had Comerica Bank recently, actually. I'll use them as an example. They have have job openings in tons of different positions. And instead of adding each individual position, we added a page for them where it's just a link that goes right to comerica.com/careers. So that's something that we can add on there for you as well. You can add a nice description on a few of the different job offerings that are available, and then just a link right out to your website where you have all those careers housed. And then that way you can keep that on there for, a few months up to a year, things along those lines, if you would like. And then that way it's always out there on the website for you. You can add an image to this one as well. And you can hit submit for approval. Like I said, we'll go and make sure everything looks okay, and then we will approve it on our end. And then any of these informations that you update, so if you're adding an event, you add a member-to-member resource, you make any changes, it's all going to show up in this social feed here, which is kind of nice. So it's just really extra recognition. If someone's just logging onto the portal, you can see Looks like Don Johnson's making some changes right as we're on the call here, which is nice. So he's going to pop right up to the top and saying that he's added, changed some information. So it's just kind of an extra touch point. Julie Brenner yesterday added a free Narcan training. So it's just really an extra spot. I'll be honest, I don't recommend just posting something directly in here. I would recommend adding it to the member-to-member resources, having it directly out on that page. That way it gets higher visibility. It's out on the public page for everyone to see. It's a lot of information in a half an hour. I apologize, there's a lot of it, but once you get into it, it really is pretty simple. As Jean mentioned, if there's anything ever that you have questions on or not sure on how to do it, give us a call. We can set up a one-on-one Zoom or just walk you through it or something along those lines. And then something else I will mention is that we realize that everyone's busy. Not everyone has time to add all this information at times. If you have information for member-to-member resources or events or things along those lines that you want pushed out and you don't have time to update it, send it over to us. That's what we're here for. We can get it uploaded. We can get it added as long as we have the information. That's no problem at all. We definitely welcome that. We'd rather do it on our end if you don't have time, as opposed to it not getting out there and not potentially losing some business from it or things along those lines. So I definitely recommend that. Does anybody have any other questions? I know I guess we could have did introductions at the first, but I will definitely turn it over to everyone if they want to do introductions. If there's no other questions at this time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you able to trace or see if anybody's clicking any of these different links?
So yeah, so if you go into, and I forgot to mention this part, thank you for bringing that up. So right along the top here, you have the report section, and you are able to see how many views and impressions you've had in the last 12 months. And that's going to be for your main directory page. And then for your resource views, that's going to be the member-to-member resources. That's going to show how many people viewed that. So those are the only features that they have in there right now.
Okay.
All right, like I said, please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help. If you have any questions moving forward, anything we can do to help promote your business, that's what we're here for. That's our job. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.